A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the abridged version of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. We're going to spend a few minutes we have on the show tonight to take a look at what's happening in your fast-paced, money-spinning world of sports. As we speak, going on is the EFL Cup. We're going to take a look at some of the results. We'll give you a slice of basketball on the show. Of course, Kari Ahmed will join me shortly as we take a look at some of these things. We'll also take a look at the footballers' representatives. Talk about FIPRO, their stance on the plans for the Biennial World Cup. We'll look at that on the show as well. Then, of course, like I said, we'll look at NBA. And I have just the person to do that. Like I said, Kari Ahmed joins me. All right, let me just quickly bring Kari Ahmed into the show straight away. Kari, greetings to you. Thanks for joining me on the show tonight.
Good evening, Yemi. Great to be back on the show.
All right, it's nice to have you. Let's take a look at what is currently going on in England, the EFL Cup. We're going to see some of the results, and I'll get your thoughts on some of the results that is going to come up on the screen as we speak. Leicester City in action, Manchester City in action, Liverpool in action as well. And as it is, 87 minutes of football played. West Ham, Manchester City is goalless. Stoke and Brentford is 2-1 now. Liverpool has got it. As a matter of fact, Liverpool is 2 now. Just happened a while ago. Leicester, Brighton is 2-all. Burnley and Tottenham is... as we speak, is 1-0. And, you know, things are happening thick and fast in football. That's the nature of football. Liverpool just made it 2. But, Kari, let me get your thoughts quickly. It's a fluid situation. Things will be, even while you're speaking, goals might be scored. But react to the things you've seen now.
Well, I recall last week talking about Manchester United game in the Champions League and when CR7 scored on the winning goal for United. And I was following the game between Leicester City, where they were leading 2-1. Right about now, it's 2-all. But the game between West Ham and Manchester City, obviously, is the pick of the bunch. And it's still goalless. And like you did say, in the world of sports, you snooze, you lose. A team that is down and out at some point might just come back and equalize and possibly go ahead to get the victory. And if it's about a title in the offing, then they pick the title. But right about now, Tottenham Hotspur are in the lead against Burnley. And like I said earlier, Leicester and Brighton, it's 2-all. It depends on the team that wants it more. But I would like to see where the pendulum swings between West Ham and Manchester City. West Ham look like a well-oiled machine these days under the reins of David Moyes. And Man City, you know, with the plethora of stars, depending on the 11 that they start with, you know, they would give the opposition a run for their money. Who knows, maybe a goal might just come in before the final whistle. And if it's still goalless, it might go into extra time and penalties like we witnessed yesterday in the game between Chelsea and Southampton that Chelsea eventually won due to penalties. It makes for an interesting encounters, basically, because it's cut across a number of games.
All right. Of course, we've gone past 90 minutes in most of those matches. The one involving Leicester, 84 minutes played. Let's quickly go to Spain. Kari, take a look at what is happening in Spain. We have a similar situation to the Manchester United brouhaha, if I may put it that way. The Manchester United saga, a manager that a lot of the fans, you know, are not happy with. In Spain, it is Barcelona. That's what's happening. And, of course, pressure mounting on Ronald Koeman today, after they lost again. They lost to Rayo Vallecano, a goal scored by Radamel Falcao in that one. Other matches, Mallorca and Sevilla ended 1-1. Rayo Vallecano and Barcelona ended 1-0 in favor of Rayo Vallecano. Real Betis and Valencia. Real Betis hammered Valencia 4-1. And the game currently going on, Real Madrid up against Osasuna.
Well, Ronald Koeman obviously is working the tightrope. And, you know, Barcelona fans were not happy with the way Lionel Messi was treated. And now he left the club despite the heroics. And despite his ouster, they've not been able to solidify themselves on the pitch of play and even in the boardroom. And Ronald Koeman has not been getting the results. And if this continues, we know what happens for coaches. They say there are 2 categories of coaches. those that have been fired and those waiting to be booted out. And the results have not gone accordingly for Ronald Koeman. I saw a clip 2 days back as a number of fans mobbed him while he was trying to leave Camp Nou the last time out in his car. Some were even saying, oh, you're not going to leave. Explain to us why we're not achieving results. And with this loss against Rayo Vallecano today, it means his days are numbered. And I'll still be surprised if he's still left at the end for longer than a few days from now, because the results are not going according to what he wants. And if it happens this way, the court gets the boot so that another person will come to try to think out the lights and hopefully get him back to winning ways.
All right, we'll leave it at that. We keep monitoring the situation, especially the Real Madrid game that is currently going on. Maybe a goal might be scored before we leave. And talking about Ronald Koeman, before we leave it all together, Ronald Koeman's statement attributed to him today, he says he will keep enjoying the days that he remains as a Barcelona manager because he knows eventually he would leave. So it means he sees the handwriting on the wall. So it's a matter of when, not if.
Well, it's a matter of when, because every coach knows that at some point, if the results are not going according to the training that they get, they definitely will be the one that will take the blame. They will throw them under the bus. And if he's saying trust the process and the results are not happening, definitely he would go. And if he thinks that it's a matter of when, and he says he just wants to enjoy his time while he's still the gaffer of Barcelona, he also knows that things are not happening as he would want, although they might be giving their best in training. And like you saw with the coach of Arsenal, who said trust the process, that they're actually working hard. And right about now, we are seeing that with Arsenal. But with Barcelona, that is not happening. And I'm not sure that they have the patience, because Real Madrid got the better of them last weekend at the El Clasico. And if Real Madrid beats you and your team like Rayo Vallecano gets the better of you, it means something is wrong somewhere. And who gets the blame if not the coach? So it means that Koeman might just get to leave even faster than we envisage.
All right, we'll wait to see. We're monitoring that. Let's talk about the association that represents professional footballers, FIFPro. They've of course, talked about what everybody's talking about now, the plans by FIFA for the Biennial World Cup. Before we listen to their representative, Kyle, I want to get your thoughts. This issue has been on the front burner. Gianni Infantino has been spearheading deliberations, discussions, even though he claims that he is neutral. It's very hard to believe that he is neutral. He says he's open to ideas. All of this is deliberation. He appears to me like he's made up his mind. But what are your thoughts, Kyle, on these plans?
Well, for FIFA, it's about the money. They're in the right to actually want to expand the World Cup and maybe reduce it from a 4-year period to a two-year period. And by the way, the World Cup has been held every 4 years since 1930, except for when they had to pause due to the Second World War. That was between 1938 and 1950. There was a 12-year pause. Yeah, 1950, yeah, 12-year pause. But it's been 4 years and it's been very, very, very consistent. Now there are daggers drawn with a number of the confederations, especially UEFA. UEFA are saying no, do not proceed with the plan. That if you proceed with the plan, do not even try to put it to a voting session like FIFA are trying to do with the football summit that will happen in December. We know in this part of the world, the Confederation of African Football are in support of it. Amadou Pinnick is in support of it. Seferin, the head honcho of UEFA, is saying no. But some countries in UEFA, especially from Eastern Europe, Romania, the Romanian Football Association chairman is saying no, go ahead. But so far, we've not seen a solid feasibility study from FIFA because it appears vague. And if you go around pushing Monsieur Wenger to try to sell that concept to people around, it means you've actually not done your homework well. And if stakeholders like confederations, leagues, and even FIFPro are saying it's going to be dead in its tracks, it means there's still much work to be done. And people are saying we should wait till the summit in December, where they will bring the financial analysis to see the benefit for every confederations and leagues. We're going to wait till December, but right about now, folks talking about confederations are divided as to whether they should proceed with that idea or not. But in the meantime, it's not looking like it's going to see the light of day, except Infantino convinces us otherwise come December.
All right, we'll wait to see whether that vote will happen, whether they'll give us a good reason. As far as FIFPro is concerned, they're saying it's not going to happen. Let's listen to the representative talking about their stand on the biennial World Cup plans.
We do need reforms, that's no question. I mean, if we just carry on like this, football in many parts of the world will not evolve, and the players at the top end will be run dry, and the players further down will not get enough football. And women's football will be a little bit stalled in its tracks because we don't give it the right platforms that it needs, which might be very different from men's football, to evolve. That's the process that really needs to be started now. And that's what we've told FIFA we'd expect to do now. And if they don't do that, then they probably can't count on our support. I think what FIFA realized now is that it's not possible to do that unless you bring broad agreement both amongst their members, but also in the professional game and the broader football ecosystem. And yeah, there's been a lot of pushback. I think they've realized that, and I think it's quite clear that if you try to push this through against the interest of all these other stakeholders and without an agreement of all the other stakeholders, it's probably dead in its tracks. Again, I think that will ultimately be good for football, because if you look at the challenges that football is facing in a variety of areas, to believe that any one institution on its own could shoulder those, I think, is unrealistic. And I think it's a broader trend that we see in all of society, right? That we have a shared ownership and a shared stewardship of different sectors, and the same as what we think needs to happen in football.
All right, so we're done with that. Jonas B. Hoffman, the FIFPro General Secretary, speaking there. But let's go straight to the NBA. We have a few minutes left on the show. We have to do this quickly. That's the results on your screen. Philadelphia 76ers losing to New York Knicks 99-102. Golden State Warriors defeating Oklahoma City Thunder. Houston Rockets losing to the Dallas Mavericks. Los Angeles Lakers. A lot of teams, a lot of basketball fans looking in their direction these days, defeating San Antonio Spurs 125-121. Denver Nuggets also losing to the Utah Jazz. Kade, let me get your thoughts quickly on these results. And I don't know if you share the sentiment, Lakers, I mean, top, they have at least top four top players, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James, and people are beginning to look at them like genuine title contenders even before we get to the playoffs.
Well, the title contenders, I won't agree just yet, because the first two games they struggled. Yeah, they won against the Memphis Grizzlies and yesterday against the Spurs, but it was without LeBron James. LeBron James is out injured, and we saw Russell Westbrook on the go with 33 points. Anthony Davis out 35, and it's looking like, okay, just maybe they might get to gel eventually. But we know that in the West, which is very, very, very competitive, teams like the Golden State Warriors, who got the better of the Oklahoma City Thunder yesterday, even though Steph Curry didn't get too many points, it was meager by his standard. He got just 23 points. But Andrew Wiggins also accounted for much of the score. And they've gone 4-0, talking about the Warriors, which means that when Klay Thompson comes back, it makes a good team better. And with Andre Iguodala back in the team, and of course, the immense experience that Draymond Green has got, so you got to look in the direction of the Golden State Warriors. I think for the Lakers, what they're about is just to get to make it to the playoffs. Last season, the Lakers, without LeBron James, struggled. And they needed someone who could also be like of support to him. That was why they went in the direction of Russell Westbrook. Yes, they're still trying to gel, but I just want to see them make it to the playoffs. And afterwards, if all the guys are fit, from LeBron James to Anthony Davis to Russell Westbrook to Carmelo Anthony and even Rajon Rondo, then maybe we can say they're going to be in the mix. And talking about the West as well, the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz. MVP of the regular season, last season, talking about Nikola Jokic, he had 24 points in the first half. The combo of the quarters 1 and 2. He was out because of a knee contusion. But these two sides as well are quite good. So the Lakers should watch out for the Warriors, the Utah Jazz, and of course the Denver Nuggets. But it's a good thing that they won yesterday, and they are out again today to play against the OKC. And I would say that will be 3-2 for them after 5 games. But let's see how far they will go in the regular season and make the playoffs first. Then if they make the playoffs, based on the composition and if they are injury-free, then we can say maybe they are in the title contention.
All right, but a lot of fans know that even if they struggle in the regular season, they have the chance to get it right later on. As long as they make it to the playoff, you get to the playoff, it's a different ballgame. But that's the word on the street. That's the word on the street. Anyway, let's quickly take a look at the fixtures, matches to be played. Then you take us through the likely scenarios in those games. So it's going to come up on your screen. Let's take a look at it. Orlando Magic will take on the Hornets. Charlotte Hornets, Boston Celtics will take on the Washington Wizards. You have Brooklyn Nets up against Miami Heat. New Orleans Pelicans up against the Atlanta Hawks. Toronto Raptors up against Indiana Pacers. Milwaukee Bucks will face the Minnesota Timberwolves. Oklahoma City Thunder will be up against Los Angeles Lakers. Phoenix Suns will be up against Sacramento Kings. Then, of course, the Clippers will take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Kade, we have just about 2 minutes to do this. Take us through what you think will happen, likely scenarios, and possibly some of the games to watch out for.
Yeah, let's look from the Nigerian angle, talking about the Celtics tonight against the Wizards. We know that Ile Udoka has gone 2 for 2. He's won 2 and lost 2. I want to see how the team gets to improve under his reign. Jaylen Brown has been averaging 28.3 points, and Marcus Smart as well. And Jason Tatum has somewhat kind of struggled, but then Schroeder has been helping with the assist. For Wizards, it's been about Bradley Beal, but Kyle Kuzma, and of course, and Spencer and Dinwiddie, who at some point said he wanted to play for the Blue Tigers of Nigeria, has been helping and been solid in terms of assists. I hope the Celtics will delve further and get to improve based on what we've seen of them, especially against the Charlotte Hornets. And another key game tonight is the one between the Nets and the Heat. We know the Heat got Kyle cover from Toronto Raptors last season, and now he is the point guard. And I also want to see how James Harden would fare as a PG in the absence of Kyrie Irving, talking about the Nets. You know, Kyrie Irving has been absent because he's unvaccinated. We know the leader of the team for the Nets is none other than Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant on his day will average over 30 points. I want to see how the support cast of the Heat and, of course, the Nets would fare. But that definitely is the pick of the bunch. And, of course, the one between the Celtics and the Washington Wizards.
All right, so let's leave it at that. Let's spend what we have, the time we have left, talk about football. It has gone the way you have talked about. Leicester, they've gone to penalties. The game, West Ham and Manchester City as well, it looks like it's going to be decided via penalties. But Liverpool, they've pulled through. They've Preston North End 2-0. Brentford defeated Stoke City 2-1. And Burnley, Tottenham, that one goal was enough. But the other 2 matches, penalties currently going on. So any surprises as we prepare to go, Kade?
Well, no surprises. Leicester, you would expect that they get the job done, which they did. But the penalties between West Ham and Manchester City, you know, it's a pendulum that will swing either way. One would say I'm going the way of West Ham, if going the way of Manchester City, but whoever plays the better penalties will get to win eventually. So no surprises for me based on what we've seen tonight.
Let me allow you to talk about the Manchester United manager. It's not going to be fair if I don't allow you to say something. So what do you think will happen? What do you think will happen? You talked about him last week, and you've been able to watch over and over that hammering they got from Liverpool. So what do you think is going to happen?
Well, we put it behind us, but it's football. You win some, you lose some. But
sure,
when you live in such calamitous circumstance, it leaves much to be desired and it questions your managerial capabilities. What's around is the fact that he has lost the dressing room and the lads do not play according to his instructions. But it appears the boardroom are in support of him and they're still hanging by the thread to see if results will still go his way and maybe they can go on a run like they did with the away run last season before they lost it to Leicester. But I think it's beyond him now because Manchester City is a big club and an individual like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer who was given the opportunity to prove his mettle, has not been able to justify that confidence reposed on him, especially from the management of Manchester United. I wouldn't be surprised if in a matter of weeks, the results does not improve and he gets fired.
Okay, all right. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. Kade Ahmed, I want to thank you for your time on the show today. Hopefully, we'll do this again next week.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
All right. That's the show today. We do hope you've enjoyed everything we'll be able to bring to you on the abridged version of the show. We're back here again tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.